Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe below so we can expand our Squatch search with
Hey guys, this is the long overdue, everyone's been waiting for um, encounter story from basically SoCal area. Won't use a real name. Just gonna have to, go with the encounter story that was given to us. Talk to this gentleman. We'll just go with the name of Jeff for now, until we can get the full scoop on it. But I wanted to get the story out there because everyone's been waiting. As the story goes, this gentleman was actually in the SoCal area, as we've kind of been saying all week. He's about the area he went camping was about 50 miles outside of LA, which it's a huge, obviously it's a huge metropolitan area, but it's kind of interesting. It's probably like many, it's as you start going north, and there's small pockets in between, south too, that almost like islands of mountains, you could say. And as you go towards more north in the Santa Clarita range, there's actually a fair amount of lower hills that eventually lead to the southern Sierras. There's known sightings in the area, kind of as you head up the 5 and as you head up again the southern Sierras, the Tehachapi range, and as you get up towards Lake Isabella, which again leads further on up to northern California, which can be as we all know, extremely squatchy as well. But down the southern, kind of, I guess that southern chain, you could say, as it follows it down, there's also sightings. Even it's a little bit dated sightings in the desert area, which this almost is. It's really it does. Most of the trees are oaks. There's not a lot of pine in that particular area. At that elevation where this gentleman had the encounter. Anyhow, he was out there camping in his tent, which was between basically a lower lake area, which was normally fed, non-drought pretty rapidly by a river, if you will, a stream. Was dried out at the time, although now 2019, fast forward, there's been a lot of rain, so it's probably flowing again. But at the time, September 2018 of his encounter, sleeping in his tent, and he all of a sudden heard footsteps, footfalls, coming basically to the side of him. It sounded like enough where he could open his ventilation flap. A lot of the modern tents anyways have little ventilation flaps that you could open. Some are screened, some are not, and it sounded like this one was not. Kind of took a peek out, basically it sounded like about at least 10-second look at a Squatch, which he described about 9 feet tall. He didn't really give a gauge as to how he knew that, but he's a pretty tall guy himself. As we mentioned, he's about 6'2", 275 weight, so pretty good sized guy. Although being in the tent, not sure how much he was able to actually stand up, but he was probably kneeling, looking at this thing. And then about simultaneously, he got a rock throw from almost the same general direction, which he later confirmed. He found the rock. He said it bounced right off his tent, which, that's a pretty amazing throw, even for a human, to be that accurate. And we know Squatches can throw rocks like no other. We had 11:30 at night. He said it was cloudy. the lower lake area. He was kind of between the lower lake area, and then there was a cave basically behind him. He said the cave was big enough to fit a one-bedroom apartment in, which was really interesting as well. So he essentially, saw the first one, took a quick glance away, and we know when that happens, normally most of the time Squatch takes that opportunity to exit the area or hide, and that's exactly what happened. He said he was he was scared he was just scared out of his mind at that point. I related to him. I said, it's possible you could have got hit with infrasound. That's always a possibility. He didn't really know what that was. He did know Bigfoot before this. He watched, the typical Finding Bigfoot, things of that nature. Was familiar with Bobo. I did mention that, due to his large stature, they may have been, kind of testing him, if you will, seeing what he was all about. He was alone in this campsite. Anyhow, back to the encounter. So yeah, asked him, did you see any facial? He said it looked like basically a gorilla and a man. Didn't really ask him any color of the face. He didn't give a ton of detail there. I asked him if he saw the eyes. He said no, it was too dark. He described hair color as darkish brown. Unlike a bear, longer, mats, he said. Let's see what else. He also, again, described height. I asked him, was there any strange smell? And he said no. And it sounded like he was about 60 feet away. And did ask him if he went back to the area to see if there was any footprints the next morning. And fortunately, he said it rained and it washed everything out that would have been there. He said where he estimated where the Squatch was walking was basically grass, so he wasn't too sure how well that would come out as far as footprints. But it was very believable. You could hear the fluctuations in his voice. Yeah, and another thing that was kind of unusual, the cave was interesting. The Squatch family, there may have been more than two. It sounded like maybe they were traversing up to the cave, and he was kind of in between everything. There was a police helicopter in the area about the same time, he said. And he was running the scenario through his own mind that possibly, Squatches had come up from a lower area, possibly a more populated area, that somebody saw them and reported it, and the police helicopter got involved. He claims he went to the police station the following day and actually asked them if there was any, incidents involving the police helicopter, that type of thing, and he claimed that the police said no, there was not, which, if they saw a Squatch, would they actually report it that way? Who knows? Probably not. I mean, they like their jobs and they'd probably take heavy ridicule. But so it's interesting. He said, it was, again, a very short encounter, probably no more than 30 seconds, which is pretty normal. Got a good size estimation of it. Although not a ton of other details, it really made sense in that regard. So, again, this is 2018 sighting. Came to us from Jeff in the SoCal area. The lower Santa Clarita range, is kind of hills and that leads up to the southern Sierras, which ranges up to 6,000, 7,000 feet. Gets a heavy amount of snow later in the winter. So yeah, it's definitely believable. That area does have sighting. Actually, up towards the 5, there's there's been sightings, which is kind of interesting because it's such a heavily trafficked freeway. I mean, that's one of the main arteries up and down the state. So who knows? They may have been using, there's probably a lot of game trails that follow up to the higher elevations, things of that nature. They may have been, Squatch may have been traversing across one of those, trying to follow game, trying to get up to, a different elevation. September, October are known for heavy Sasquatch activity as it is. But again, just wanted to get this story out. Hope everybody enjoys it. Please comment below. And if you have not subscribed, would love to have you on the channel. Everybody have a great day, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe below so we can expand our Squatch search with your help. If you do have an encounter to tell, send to SoCal Sasquatch Organization at gmail.com. We now have SFSO Keep On Squatchin' t-shirts available. See link in description below. Join the community and show it off wherever you go.